On January 29, 2025, one of the most tragic and terrifying things a human could ever experience occurred. An American airline plane with 60 passengers and 4 crew members collided mid-air with the military Black Hawk helicopter with 3 soldiers on it near Ronald Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. Once collided, both of the aircrafts crashed into the Potomac River, and so far, there have been no survivors. The plane was an American Eagle Flight 5342 and had just came from Wichita, Kansas, and was currently about to land when the collision happened. This has been the first commercial plane collision since 2009 in the U.S. On the plane, it had included 14 top U.S. figure skaters, and most of them were children. So far, the remains of 41 people have been recovered from the water, but it's still a growing number right now. More and more information is coming out by the day. Now, as everyone mourns this tragic incident, President Donald Trump took to the stand and shared what he had to say about it.
Crash, I signed an executive order restoring our highest standards for air traffic controllers and other important jobs throughout the country. So it was very interesting. I signed something last week. It was an executive order, very powerful, on restoring the highest standards of air traffic controllers. More to say about that. I do want to point out that various articles that appeared prior to my entering office, and here's one. The FAA's diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. That is amazing. And then it says FAA says people with severe disabilities are most underrepresented segment of the workforce, and they want them in, and they can be air traffic controllers. I don't think so.
President Trump claimed that diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives for air traffic controllers at the Federal Aviation Administration were partly to blame for the helicopter collision in Washington. But how? How does DEI relate to a plane crash? What does it mean for DEI going forward in the future? And can President Trump actually make it go away altogether? First, let's understand what DEI is. DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. It is a U.S. organization whose main priority is fair treatment and full participation in the workplace. It is specifically for groups who have historically in the past been underrepresented or subject to discrimination based on disability or identity. Other forms of DEI come into effect when someone is judged by gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation, disability, age, culture, class, religion, or opinion. Some examples of that can be for women when they're in the workplace and men are favored over them. That is a form of discrimination that falls under DEI. However, as of January 31st, 2025, DEI is currently in the hot seat and only a couple signatures away from not existing at all. On January 27th, 2025, 2 days before the plane crash, President Donald Trump had signed an executive order to end DEI in the nation's military programs. In his order, he directed the Pentagon to stop all DEI initiatives. Trump said that DEI programs discourage merit and leadership and discriminate on the basis of race and sex. And shortly thereafter, President Trump made another executive order that cut DEI initiatives out of all things in the federal government. And from that, he subsequently placed all DEI employees on paid leave. Trump gave the Defense of DEI 90 days to give his administration a full detailed report of all of the DEI programs that they had open and things related to them. The agency also has to that same deadline to alert all of their employees that they will need to leave and take down all of their marketing programs that are related to DEI as well. From that, companies like Walmart and Facebook have already rolled back on their DEI initiatives. Now, previously, President Biden's administration had required federal agencies to have DEI hiring programs and promotions. But now, President Trump is trying to reverse all of those plans. But how does DEI relate to a plane crash? It's because DEI and the FAA work hand in hand. Their goal is to make sure that everyone has a fair chance. Might that be a pilot, a flight attendant, air traffic controllers, and so on. They play a major role in the hiring process for the airlines as well. With that said, President Trump, despite without any evidence, is saying that it's possible that the pilot was undertrained or that air traffic controllers were undertrained or only hired for certain circumstances. Trump said on Thursday, "We have to have our smartest people as air traffic controllers."
We have to have our smartest people. It doesn't matter what they look like, how they speak, who they are. It matters intellect, talent, the word talent. They have to be talented, naturally talented geniuses. Can't have regular people doing that job. They won't be able to do it.
Trump has spent a considerable amount of time discussing the FAA and DEI initiatives, particularly under Biden and Obama. When Trump was asked how he came to the conclusion of FAA diversity policies, he had something to say that it concluded to the disaster.
And then when I left office and Biden took over, he changed them back to lower than ever before. I put safety first. Obama, Biden, and the Democrats put policy first. And they put politics at a level that nobody's ever seen, because this was the lowest level.
After that, President Trump went on to attack Obama and Biden administrations. He said that they lowered the requirements for air traffic controllers. With that, you can see that Trump is not only putting Biden in the spotlight, but DEI. And with the plane crash being a high media coverage event, something will have to change soon. However, DEI did speak out against Trump. A former Army helicopter pilot who was a DEI consultant told NBC News he was taken aback by Trump's words. To say those things that had no bearing on any facts and a lack of credible information is just jarring. While families are grieving, to turn this into an attack on DEI is disturbing. Not too long after that, NAACP, which is a civil rights organization, their president, Derek Johnson, said, "The president has made his decision to put politics over people abundantly clear as he uses the highest office in the land to sow hatred rooted in false hopes instead of providing us with the leadership we need and deserve." So, Trump's response to the plane crash has mixed results. It has brought a lot of controversy, with some people agreeing with him and also putting blame to DEI, and others who saying he's being very inconsiderate altogether. Billy Nolan, an active FAA administrator, said that his role and career have solely been centered on focusing on the safety of flight. So what that means for him is that he's truly going to investigate what happened in this plane crash. He said, "That's what we owe, certainly, to the families, and that's what we owe to the American people." We also have a comment that was told to NBC News from Tennessee Garver. He told NBC that eliminating DEI may only exacerbate demand. There's never been any proof that DEI causes any safety issues, because it doesn't. And if there's something wrong with aviation in America, how can DEI be the problem? So plenty of people have been giving their comments on the situation and Trump's response. So now we're at a point where we're just waiting for more information to come out, because quite frankly, it's still too early to put the blame on anyone. I understand why Trump disagrees with DEI, but to put the blame on them for a plane crash doesn't seem completely valid to me at all. I think the bigger issue here is that President Trump was showing no empathy, no sympathy for the situation that had happened. Normally, when different tragedies like this hit a country or a community, the people will turn and look to their leader, their president. And when they do that, all they're looking for is comforting words. And that is something that President Trump did not give. He went as far as even saying that he didn't even see the reason in visiting the crash site. He said, "What do you want me to do? Go there to see water? Do you want me to swim?" It just shows that it's kind of out of touch with what's actually happening. With President Trump already having frustrations with DEI before the plane crash even happened, it could have just rolled into that, but who knows? I believe that DEI is very close to permanently being gone because of how much effort and time President Trump is taking to make sure actions are took so it can go away. And if so, a lot will change for Americans in their everyday life. So yes, it may give everyone a fair chance at jobs, but the diversity in the US is already starting to spread. And with him trying to get rid of it, it is promoting a lot of hate for his decision to take it away. And that is already beginning to show.